Fill her up.
You're listening to the GaS Digital Network.
Your phone down for a second.
Here's going to be their levels. It's going to be Nat, Becca, Micah.
This is like Frank ASMR.
I would listen to that.
I would listen to that too.
Turn it off, on again.
That's funny.
Have you tried switching your channel? What you need is an HDMI.
5 sleeping cures they'll never tell you about.
Can you guys just set the timer when you're ready? Thank you. Oh, I touched it with my mouth. I hate that.
So, Becca, the big thing that all the fans out there want to know.
The type of question that Becca would ask us completely unprompted.
Is Becca Kaplan going to appear at the Staten Island Comedy Festival again this year?
You remember that I did that last year? It's called The Fifth Borough.
Wasn't it around this time last year? If memory serves. It's like the beginning of June.
I blocked it out, but probably.
That's like I've had 5 conversations with Becca, and that's one of them. That's why I remember it.
I've had at least 5 conversations with Becca just in Jamaica this year.
True, I know. I'm exaggerating.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
This is a special episode. It's a guest episode, and we're having claws, both of which are uncommon for us. This is GaS Digital Now, the GaS Digital wrap-up show. We talk about the shows that happened this week on the network.
I'm Blind Mike.
I'm Natalie. We have our friend Becca here.
Welcome.
Who's an editor, the editor at GaS Digital.
Remember how you said to Lewis, I was the algorithm? She's the
algorithm. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, depends on what you mean by that, I guess.
That's sweet, but I also wonder what you mean in a literal way.
Nat.
This
was a Nat quote.
This was a deep cut from when we used to do Best of the Week. Where we were talking about what if there was a program built into the website like YouTube where it'll give you suggested based on your previous views. And I go, that's just Mike. Is like, he decides what you should watch before your episode because he picks what's in the Best of the Week. And now we're the Best of the Week, kind of. This show became the Best of the Week.
Welcome.
We used to dissect literally as many episodes as we could fit into this episode. And we would have to come up with like
90 questions.
A question, like a jumping off conversational point, which was kind of difficult at a point.
I loved a conversational thread that went nowhere.
He also loves a hypothetical, and I know how you feel about hypotheticals.
Oh, we all love hypotheticals. Frank's sitting.
Brandon, do you like hypotheticals? Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. He likes hypotheticals. We have Brandon on the 1s and 2s today. That's an unusual. This is a very special episode. There's a lot of people here.
Hypothetically, could you take off your shirt?
Hypothetically, no. I've started saying to Mike, I'm not fucking you later if he pisses me off, and that's been working for me.
It has not. It's a bad threat.
It's 0 for 2, but it's a funny thing to say.
It's empty, just like your brain.
One of these days, I'm gonna be mad enough at you that I will stick to it.
Becca, as an anti-feminist, can you back me up on why this is a bad for a relationship?
I think that there's like a way for men to irritate women that's endearing, but what you just did was not. But you did it in a joking way, but like not a cute joking way.
Got your whole ass.
What?
I appreciate it. Got your whole ass. In a joking way, but not in a cute way. Got your whole ass.
What did I say? What is she referring to?
Me saying that you saying my head is empty. We got a lot of stuff. You said we have a lot of stuff to talk about this week.
Yeah, I do love an empty threat though.
Do you wanna list them off? What we're gonna get to today? Because you have most of them. I have on the gate. They talked about deportations. They talked a lot about Mexicans, and that's cool. I'm going to get into that.
Love a Mexican, Mike? But I also love a deportation. Who says you have to go back? It's been all around the world, and as a matter of fact.
Who sings that?
Who does sing that?
I don't know.
Who says you can't go home?
I think it's Smash.
It's all right. It's all right.
Why did you sing that?
Because who says that they can't go home? Go home once in a while.
Oh.
Well, they're deporting people to like El Salvador, whether they're from there or not.
So
I
they're
know,
not
that's
going
crazy.
home. They're not going home.
But we do have a lot to talk about today.
Please.
We have to talk about the finals in the intern Olympics,
Yes.
which Becca never had to go through.
Neither did I.
We're going to be talking about Godfrey versus Corey Holcomb.
Classic.
We're going to be talking about Figs fighting at Skankfest.
Oh, okay.
Um,
These are all news to me. Shows you how much I'm paying attention lately.
and we're going to be talking about everything that went down Wednesday in the studio because it was a flurry.
Can we start with that? Actually, we got to start
Well, we
with
gotta
your
talk
Philly
about our
experience.
weekend.
Yeah.
So, Rebecca, do you know what Digital Bazooka is?
I've heard of it, but no.
So my friends from Philly, who I used to do open mics with, Drew Montana, and James Moss, Rat Boy James, do a call-in prank show. It's a podcast call-in prank show where they do like 4 or 5 prank calls an episode, and they like go back and forth and do like riffs and talk about the prank calls and stuff. And so they did a live one at Helium, which you can imagine is not only a technical nightmare, but also they had to do it at 4 p.m.
I said
Because-
that. I had gone out that day and I called him about our show. And it's like 6 or 7 p.m. He goes, yeah, I'm about to go to the after party. I go, the after party? It's 7 p.m. And he goes, yeah, you have to do prank calls during the day when people pick up the phone.
So they had to like strategically place it so it's still like a time that when people want to go to comedy clubs.
But also a time that people would pick up the phone.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
But shout out Helium for being able to have, you know, the technical capabilities to put on a show like that. It was very fun.
Yeah.
A lot of great gags on there. Ryan Foster ended up prank calling his own like friend, so it was just 2, you know, Philly white guys screaming at each other,
Yeah.
which was hilarious.
Did he ever reveal that it was him?
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, because so they used it was brilliant actually because they used I forget if they used James' phone, but they used someone's where the call came in from New Jersey, and so Ryan Foster was calling in like saying he was from Montgomery County in Pennsylvania, and so they're like, wait a minute, but this is it. Why does it say New Jersey on there? He's like, I'm calling from my personal phone. And we were like, dude, that was so brilliant to just like have that to have that excuse on the ready.
Yeah.
And so then after that, we went to a place called Rotten Ralph's, which is a known venue in Old City, Philadelphia. Cobblestone streets, baby.
Cute.
And Amico hosted it. So he went up. So this was kind of like a lounge on a second floor of a bar.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of overlooked Old City, which is kind of cool. And it was a vibe up there. There was like a rug where he was like his stage was like this big rug.
I like that you were like, it was really cool. There was a rug.
There was. That's kind of vibey, dude.
It's kind of vibey, right?
All the Philly gang was there. Danny Dubs was there, and he got a haircut.
He did. That's true.
And he and I agreed on this point, which my family, Becca, and her have made fun of me for.
No.
Which is when I go to the barber, I like to tell the barber, just do what you think is best.
I don't make fun of you for that.
Because I'm like, you're a professional. You should be able to figure it out. You went to school for this. I didn't.
I want to do that too,
And
because we also all know that like you take in a picture of what you want it to look like, and it's not going to look like that on you unless you have a picture of you.
And Danny Dubs agreed with me. He said that's literally what he did to his barber, and the barber gave him these little spikes and stuff. It was cool.
That's crazy that he went to the barber with hair longer than mine,
Mhm.
and they gave him your haircut and went, no, for real. He must have been like, do your worst.
Yeah.
Because like that's like a
time.
crazy difference, you know?
There comes a time for every man. and
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah, I agree with that. I had mine.
Agreed. Have you ever hosted or been a part of an after party for a comedy show?
I mean, I've gone to after parties.
I was gonna ask if you've ever prank called anyone.
Ooh, that's a better question.
Yeah, I've done that. I mean, I used to do like AOL chat rooms. I guess you guys probably haven't.
I'm familiar. No,
Yeah.
I'm familiar with an AOL chat room. Are you? Oh, you weren't allowed
Before
to use
my
the internet.
time.
You weren't allowed to use the internet.
Yeah, you guys were also like 12 when the internet came out.
Shut up. Fuck you. That's an insane thing to say. Mike wasn't allowed to have a phone until he was like 18.
Are you serious?
Not literally,
like-
but like
15.
he wasn't allowed to use the internet on his
No,
phone.
not that. Not until 18.
Yeah.
Not until 18 did my dad put Safari and Snapchat on my phone.
Yeah, I feel like that's significant. He and his sister would talk about like going into, what was it, like the App Store, and it would let you open like
No,
a
you would go
search window or something.
So you go to Google Earth,
Yeah.
because I was allowed to have Google Earth. We had to get all of our apps approved by my dad, and one of them was Google Earth. And so if you go to the settings on Google Earth, it would take you to like a terms of service thing, and at the bottom, if you tapped on the Google icon, it would take you to the home search page of Google, so then you could just look up your website on the Google search.
Doesn't this explain him a little bit? It's like, how did he end up like that? Oh, yeah, that's why. Yeah, for sure.
Did you not have like a PC or something to access?
You did have the
internet?
PC,
But
but
that
like,
was only for homework.
yeah.
Okay. So when was like the first time you looked at pornography on the internet?
Tumblr.
Yeah.
Because you could look up Tumblr on the phone.
Yeah.
And that was like a bypass.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Wow.
And Wattpad. We've bonded over
Also
Wattpad.
pretty brilliant. You're familiar as someone
Yeah.
who has a fan fiction
fiction
podcast.
Yeah.
Tumblr is using only Tumblr for porn when you're a teenager is brilliant because your parents aren't going to think to look there. Like, I never
Yes.
thought of that until just now. They're not going to, you can't check your history on Tumblr.
Exactly.
That's smart. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Prank calls.
AOL.
What were your AOL messages?
Um,
AOL.
I don't know. My friends and I would go on and be like, we're like 18 and like, you know, whatever.
You're jailbaiting men.
Yeah.
We were like reversed doing it because we were like, you know, like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
We were like, we're 18, we're like 19. And then they sent us like very sexually explicit messages and we would
Oh my
giggle
God.
about it.
Yeah. I definitely, did you ever
Women
use
are terrorists.
Omegle?
Yeah.
Video or just chat?
Just the chat. The video is too scary.
The video is too scary. I would do the videos with a group of people every once in a while,
Yeah.
and you had to have someone to be ready to get rid of just the dick. But like sometimes it would just be like another teenager, and then that was kind of cool.
You would just look at random men's dicks.
No, do you know what Omegle is?
Yeah.
It's like chat roulette.
It's like chat roulette, yeah. So it would give you a random person with a webcam, and sometimes dude would just be camped out, dick out, in
Yeah.
hand, and so you would skip through that.
It's a
but you
numbers
didn't
game.
want to look at it. I didn't want to look at it, so we'd skip through it quickly. But you had to get a glimpse to be like, what is it? Should I stay on this or should I switch it off? Yeah, ASL. I remember that specific, and I would just make up a different ASL every time.
Yeah.
That was fun. I have this
Classic.
very distinct memory of on Christmas one year, like before I was going to dinner with my family, being on chat roulette or Omegle or whatever, just the chat. And the other person was like, what? Yeah, I was like, what are you doing here on Christmas? And they were like, you know, I hate my family. They like, and gave me this whole sob story and was like, but I'm living my own life now, and I'm really happy with where I'm at, even though I have nowhere to go on Christmas. And I'm like, yeah, or not that they had nowhere to go, but they were just like, I'm by myself on Christmas, but that's okay because like I'm happy. And I was like, good for you.
Sure sounds like it, dude.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. But I'm like, I hope that you
Puffin'
are.
major copium.
Yeah, probably.
Oh man, that actually reminds me, not to recap off-network shows too much here, but my other favorite prank call that they did was Drew Montana called a bee sanctuary or whatever it is,
Uh-huh.
and he wanted to set up a pedophile sting where
They sting the pedophiles.
yeah, where they let the bees loose on them.
That's pretty good.
That's cute.
That's
Yeah.
good. I like that. How many of them like caught on?
They were pretty sick. They had a pretty successful call rate.
Nice.
Oh, caught on.
Yes, caught on. Like,
Well,
they went. What is this?
The game of it is keep them on as long as possible before they hang
even
up.
if they hang up, even if they catch, even if they get it, you just gotta.
You're
keep
just
them
trying to get
them
them to
stay.
Yeah, and then they hang up.
Yeah, I just realized we also hung out on Sunday.
Yeah, that was fun. Nat ran the Lincoln Tunnel race.
I ran a 5K through the Lincoln Tunnel with my dad on Sunday, and Mike was there at the end of it, and he didn't get to walk through the toll booths like I told him to do.
No.
He that's the nice thing of the Lincoln Tunnel race is like in there, so even if he came to support, you can't see the race. So it doesn't really matter if you're there during it or after it.
Yeah, I completely forgot that transportation on a Sunday, even in Jersey City or New York City, is impossible.
Yeah. So but I did pretty well. I didn't beat any times or anything, but I said to Mike I felt better afterward than I normally do. Usually I'm like completely winded. And this time I ran it and I was like, that was fun. I could have kept running. So that's huge to me.
You saw a couple of costumes.
Yeah, there was these 4 chicks in a very hungry caterpillar costume where there was like 4 chicks running in a single file line where they had like, what is that called? Like those expandable tubes that a kid would like climb through where it's like a hoop and then it stretches out.
I don't know what they're called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, where they would like walk. And I was like, that's got to be really annoying to you guys just have to keep pace with each other. It's like the human centipede.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep bumping into the guy in front of me.
Yeah, and then it was May the 4th, so there were a bunch of Star Wars themed people. And there was a Chewbacca at the end when I ran. They must have ran it so fast in this Chewbacca costume.
That's
waited for people at
nuts.
the end and was just like dancing and high-fiving people.
I mean, how do you do it in that? Like, you're going to be so sweaty and hot.
Yeah. I was saying that my goal for next year is to so the early race is doing it in under 30 minutes, which is just under 10 minutes per mile. And my goal is to qualify for that, but I can't decide if I want to be the slowest person in the fast race or the fastest person in the slow race. We'll see next year. I don't have to decide now.
But you've got time, baby, and the motivation.
Yeah. Did you do anything interesting this weekend?
I did. I don't know. I did like the tiny cupboard. A guy gave me a painting. That's cool.
That's cool. Unprompted?
Like a stranger, or a person I hadn't met, like came and was like, "I brought this painting to give to you."
Do you
Whoa.
think it's like,
What was it a painting of?
Expensive painting?
I mean, art. I probably not, but I mean, he made it himself. It was like a design based on the word emerge.
Cool. Neat.
Yeah,
And this is a fan of yours?
I guess so.
Cool.
It's pretty neat.
Well, I think he was trying to hit on me, but
Yeah.
I guess
It didn't work.
He hit her over the head with the painting.
Yeah. It didn't work.
whether it works is TBD.
Yeah, fair
Who
enough.
knows?
I feel like of the ways that a stranger could hit on, who knows who you are in advance, could hit on you. That's pretty good.
That's like
Well-
a solid.
Yeah.
I mean, bring a painting. Say you're going to paint them. Girls are self.
No, that's over the line to creepy.
Yeah, it's like,
Is it?
yeah, I'm going to paint you, AKA come to my apartment alone,
Well, we can start off in a park,
I guess.
and then,
You
we
need to
can-
have like a business card if you're going to do that.
No, you need a beret and to be smoking a really long cigarette and have a French accent.
Another guy who was trying to hit on me did draw me like as Catwoman, but
Cool.
like he drew my body type like not accurately, and I was like, this isn't a good way to hit. Like,
He's like, here's what you'd look like if I thought you were hotter.
yeah, if you were
my
hot-
dream woman, this is what you'd look like. Or my brain immediately went to, it was meant for somebody else and he just turned it into you. He's like, that chick turned me down. Here you go. I'll put your face onto it.
I did get this other time a guy was like trying to hit on me in a bar, and he just pulled out a phone number that he had like already written down, and I was like, you definitely just gave some girl your phone number and she rejected
Gave
you
it
and
back.
put it back. And then like an hour later he like had another crumpled piece of paper with his phone number that he handed to me, so I was like, do you just carry these around? Like, is this your
Bro,
business
get
card?
business cards.
Yeah.
Get real business cards.
This is on a
at that point.
Walgreens receipt.
Yeah. It would be kind of cool if a dude just had actual business cards just with their phone number on it. Or, better yet, have business cards with a fake business. And then you can give that to women and it has your phone number on it.
That's smart. In the business is like really What's like the cringiest way you've been hit on?
That's a good question.
I'm sure it's like a lot since you like.
I mean, a dude came up to me while I was working in college at my job, and I was like closing, and he was like there with his friends to the point where I even was like, are you high schoolers and you're just like trying to be cool for your friends? Like you have no actual interest in getting me? And he goes, hey, will you go out with me or something? And I go, no, I have a boyfriend. And he's like, that's okay, I don't mind.
That was definitely a prank.
Yeah, but it like, either way. Any other time people have been relatively respectful.
Hitting on girl in the hood prank.
Yeah, it was just me closing. But it was also me closing, which was like slightly threatening. It's like there are no other customers here.
Uh-oh.
Whatever, he was fine. But that's probably
You had a
up
lot
there.
of weird characters in that liquor store.
This was not at the liquor store. This was in college at the boutique, the jewelry store. Yeah.
Huh.
Which is like a good place to hit on women because it was all college women there. It's like you should just hang out and wait for one of them to say yes to you.
Fair enough.
Damn. You want to
so-
get into your shows?
Well, to round out Rotten Ralph's,
Oh, yeah.
while we were traveling down to Helium in Philly, we went with photographer Andrew. Do you know him?
AJ?
No, Andrew Bray.
Oh, sure.
He got a zip. He loves Digital Bazooka. So he rented a zip car and invited me and Jake to go with him down. So that's kind of why I went.
Mm-hmm.
And on the way down, Jake got an email from the Skanks team for the finals of the intern Olympics. And this is going to lead into Legion of Skanks.
Right.
That he had to have a wrestling promo ready for Monday to compete against the other interns who were also going to.
And that was Saturday night. Or Saturday day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, as we were going in, I don't remember if it was Andrew or his girlfriend, but someone suggested that he call himself the Toe. Because do you know about his feet?
I'm aware.
He's
Yeah.
got nasty.
Yeah.
For
You
anyone
think
who
after
doesn't know-
Jamaica, Becca doesn't know about
Oh,
Jake's
yeah,
feet?
that's
He's so
true.
for real.
You saw them.
I don't think I did. But
Oh, they're.
But you heard.
I heard tell.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know, Jake intern for Legion of Skanks, has disgusting, nasty, fungus-ridden feet,
Yeah.
and
It's kind of like an urban legend.
as in it
Nope.
it
I'm going to stop you right there. I don't know what you're about to say, but I don't like it.
I don't even know what I was gonna say. And so either Andrew or
he's
his
like
girlfriend-
BO foot.
Yeah.
BO
Wait.
foot,
Like-
Bigfoot.
Yeah, that was a bad pun because you couldn't tell it was a pun.
Right. I missed it.
Well, the puns don't stop there.
Mhm.
Because we started to we were bouncing back and forth between the Toe, and then I suggested, well, there is a wrestler called the Big Show, so you should be the Big Toe,
Okay.
and so that's what we went with, and then we started doing puns and writing this script out in the car, and I came up with, I'm the Big Toe, the ultimate heel, and then someone else was like, I don't even remember half of them, but like something about like getting clipped.
This is
Stuff
what
like
Lewis
that.
talks about where he's like, yo, we got to meet. You guys got to meet up in the studio and have
It was
ideas come
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
It was a brainstorm. I mean, it was better than Andrew's idea of, because they also had to come up with a segment for the show.
Okay.
And Andrew's idea, because it was wrestling promo, and then you had to come up with a segment on the show that they would judge.
Okay.
And Andrew's idea for the segment on the show was, you should have them make a pizza. And I'm like, bro,
And then what?
yeah.
And then what?
He was like, no, but Lewis would be so mad. I'm like, yeah, because that's nothing.
Because it's bad. It's a bad idea. That's why he'd be mad.
Make your own pizza
The-
on Legion of Skanks is chaotic.
Dave Smith, build your own pizza.
Yeah!
There we go.
Build your own pizza, just like the roads.
Yeah.
Yeah, just make it worse. Make it an English muffin pizza.
A bagel
man.
pizza.
Classic.
Wait, so what did we end up what did they go with?
So not only did Jake for the wrestling promo, so he got all the Philly comedians that were at the show to like do like to say the lines about the big toe.
Okay.
And it went over great on Skanks, but the Skanks were like, they do not want Jake to go through.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. Because they wouldn't keep him here. It's all wrestling. It's all wrestling. If they didn't still want him here, they would have canned him.
And, but the guests voted him through.
Yeah.
So.
To the end.
Then in the next round.
Okay.
Well, Zhao Yang was on. Whatever she smoked, she was on, Prudo.
Okay.
And.
Mike loves throwing in the racist jokes on this episode, on this show. I don't know where it came from. Is it because your mom's listening? You want to like show off for her?
I'm trying to scare her away.
Okay.
I don't even get that joke if it was a racist joke.
Let's just let it die. Yeah, let's just let it die.
She was on Uranus. And so the other one, his segment was actually pretty good. It was like the mug the thing that we were playing before with Gio and Derek, where it's like guess the pedophile out of the mug shots.
Oh
or
yeah.
whatever. Which was pretty good.
Shout out Jorge.
And that also won. So,
Okay.
Because Serafina's idea was not great, which was top the story.
Okay.
And then Dave Smith goes, wait, but you know Jay and Lewis now have a spin-off podcast based off of stories.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
Yeah, that's true. What was Josh's idea? Do you remember?
Well, he was eliminated because he lost the wrestling promo one.
Got it. Okay. So then what's the result of all of this?
So Jake won because he won both segments.
Well, yeah, obviously they did want him, otherwise he wouldn't be... Sorry. Remember when last week you were like, you were explaining why you were mad at their grading, and then you were like, wait, I'm an idiot. This is probably part of a storyline, and I'm just ruining it.
Yeah, because Jorge... 8 weeks ago, Jorge comes in, he's like, it's a whole bit, you wouldn't understand.
But with Jorge, that could be total bullshit.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I saw Josh earlier, and I go, you're an intern. And he's like, yeah. He goes, I didn't win. I go, no, that's okay. It's like American Idol where the second people stick around. And I didn't say this to him, but has anyone said that he looks like the red guy from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends? Because that's the only thing I can think of when I look at him.
Really?
Yes.
You know what I think of?
What?
Because we said we were going to go joke for joke on this.
With our 2 jokes. We each have 1 joke, and we're going to go joke for joke with them.
Butthead from Beavis and Butthead.
Hold on, I'm going to look up Butthead.
Show me a picture of him. I'll give a third joke.
Yeah, do you have him on Instagram?
In a clip.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I guess. More about his face. But his hair is so distinct. What is the red guy called from Foster's Home?
It's not Mac.
Wilt!
Wilt!
Yeah, he looks like this guy. That's what he looks like.
Holy shit.
That's what he looks like. He's shaped like that.
Why he shaped
Why
like
he
that?
shaped like that?
Does he also have like a little circle on the end of each finger?
Kind of. Yeah.
Bruh. Hold on.
I'll cut this part out of us looking for it.
Oh, his face looks wrong.
Yeah.
He looks like a 60-year-old that got plastic surgery to be like, make me look 16. And he ended up looking like a melted-faced Andy Samberg.
Interesting.
But like a mixed race. A mixed race
Andy Samberg.
Mixed race melting face Andy Samberg. Is
Not
that...
bad.
I like it. I do feel like he
well,
looks like
hold
an
on.
old person who got stretched into
Do you
a
know
young
how
person.
old he is? Like, ballpark?
He's got to be our age, right?
He's like 29, I think.
Okay.
Something like that. It's funny you say that because Dave Attell's joke on that episode was he looks like an imaginary Fred.
He looks like this imaginary
Yeah.
friend. Is that
And-
not what he looks like?
Dude, the best one I saw though in the comments was He looks like the man with the golden voice.
Yeah, he totally does. Hold on. That's the most accurate one, man, with
You know what I'm talking about?
the
crack addict
the
that
golden
has the
voice.
golden voice.
Yeah, this guy.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
He totally does look like. By the way, that's him now. On the right.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What the hell? What the heck? Brandon just put himself on the screen. There we are. You want to weigh in since you were on the screen? Do you know how to put your mic on?
He also.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. Thank you.
I was trying to do my first pull-up.
It's okay. I like it. There he is for everyone else at home so that I don't have to cut a picture of him in there.
By the way, and I'm gonna ask Becca this, but since Brandon's now on mic, I'll
You can pull
ask
it
him
down.
too. He pulled by on the skin of his teeth by not having to do the intern Olympics.
Yeah, how was that? Weren't you an intern?
You're messing with me. No, I was not. I skated by.
So what does that mean? How did you get this job?
Honestly, I came by before they were starting any type of intern Olympics, and I feel like I was already an established person.
So you were just a
person.
person that would go to Skanks a lot?
No, I reached out to G Mike.
And you were like, I want to be an
Lewis
intern?
actually posted one day, and he was like, "Hey, we need people for ads or something on Instagram." And I just replied. I was like, "Lewis is not going to reply to a nobody." And
Sure.
Then I messaged all of the producers on, and G Mike actually replied and said, "Come through."
Nice. That's a good way.
Yeah.
That's smart. Becca and I both didn't have to be interns.
How did you guys?
Well, how did you? I'll let you answer
Yeah.
that first.
Somebody I knew that I was looking for video editing work, and he said, he put me in touch with Dylan, and
Got
Dylan
it.
recommended me, and I had never heard of this company.
I had never heard of this company either.
Was it Suarez?
What? No, somebody that I know that doesn't work here or anything. But yeah, it's like on the when I came in, Bobby was like, "Do you know what kind of content we do?" And I lied and said yes, but I didn't know.
That's pretty funny. I've told this story more than once on the show, but my dad and Ralph used to work together like 25 years ago. And my dad still works with Ralph's brother. And he was asking about Ralph during the pandemic. And his brother was like, oh, he owns a podcast studio now. And I had been doing freelance podcast work during the pandemic.
And she was like, sure, I'll work for my uncle.
Not my uncle. You guys can keep saying that Ralph's my uncle. It doesn't make it true. And I had a phone call with Ralph where he was like, yeah, come through. We're looking for people. And he gave me like 3 requirements. One of them was like no Adobe, and as in KNOW Adobe. And
0 Adobe is
not allowed. No Adobe allowed.
Only Canva and CapCut.
And then he was like, it's a safe space for comedians to say whatever they want. So if people say some really whack shit here, you have to be like, okay with that. And I was like, yeah, that's fine.
It's a safe space in one way.
Yeah, it's a safe space
to be dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Title of the
protected
episode.
speech or whatever. And then I remember Shannon was like, have you listened to any shows here on my first day? And I was like, yeah, I have, meaning that I had listened to the most recent episode of Rap on the way in to work on my first episode of Rap. So like similar vibe. I was saying recently that was the episode where Dalton talked about his friend that just died. And the whole time I couldn't tell if it was a joke, and it wasn't.
Biggest crash out in comedy.
I would say that definitely biggest crash out of this network.
Yeah.
I would say that comedy is rife with.
Matt Rife?
Yeah, I walked right into it. With crash outs, big crash outs.
So my question for Becca was, as someone who didn't have to do it in watching, I don't know if you actually watch the Intern Olympics or not, but hearing about them, how do you feel? Like, do you think do you feel like this kind of hazing actually does kind of weed people out, or do you think it's unnecessary?
I mean,
Like, is there value to the Intern Olympics?
Well, I mean, at that point, you're doing it just more as like reality TV content or reality TV style. I mean, are you asking like, is this like a legitimate way to like find people to work for you? Like, not.
Or just like, how do you feel about it? I just want to know like how you feel. As someone who isn't involved, but like as a third party observer.
So the idea is that people are interns, and then one intern will get like hired to do something,
Yeah.
But they have to go through like a
some hazing.
stunts.
Yes,
Hazing,
stunts,
stunts.
hazing, yeah.
But also they show off like they have to like edit clips and stuff.
That was news to me. I was just under the impression that people would just like suck their own dick on stage and like bring weed and stuff. And he was like, no, you actually have to edit sometimes for the intern Olympics. And I'm like, well, that's good at least.
I had to write a poem.
You had to write a poem and edit, you said.
Yes.
I mean, I'd like to see the person who wins by demonstrating no workplace skills and only
Stunts.
yeah.
That was Jake.
That was Jake. Jake, and I once
He's
said,
explicitly in the car on the way to the venue on Saturday. Explicitly said, I'm not interested in doing that editing shit.
I mean, creating man on the street content is work in a way if it's for like.
it is, but that involves the whole creation of it, not
Sure.
just being the man.
Sure. Yeah. He wants to be the talent.
Yeah.
not-
Exactly. I like Jake. Jake is very cool. Jake is a good hang.
Yeah. Lewis just has this thing of like, did you guys watch Big Time Rush? Not to bring it back to my sister.
His sister has gone to see Big Time Rush in concert multiple times.
Okay.
But have you seen it? Oh, never mind.
I've seen it. Are you familiar with who they are? What
No.
the deal is? It was it was like a boy band Nickelodeon show, but for some reason they still exist as a boy band and do music.
But
It would be like if Hannah Montana was if Miley Cyrus was still touring as Hannah Montana.
They're like girls 5
Yeah, basically. Yeah, exactly. Too bad Jorge wasn't here for that because he loves that show.
But they had like this cartoonish like music producer, like the super producer, like, and the quote that he always had was like, I could turn a rock star out of a dog or whatever. And I feel
Right.
like that's so Lewis.
Yeah, for
Just being
sure.
Like I could turn Jake into
My guy here. He could, but I don't get why he would do that. He doesn't suffer fools commonly. He's just
Sure.
like kind of a no bullshit kind of dude, unless he sets his
well,
sights
he
on
makes
something.
fools suffer.
He does both.
Anyway, this is going on too long. I just wanted to know I never heard your opinion on the intern Olympics stuff. So
Yeah, to be honest, I only heard about it for the first time, like in the Jamaica thing.
Damn.
So do you know about the lie detector test?
No.
They put all the interns under, including me, a lie detector test and had to like ask them various questions.
Which is also a common thing that they do on Skanks a lot and have their guests do.
Yeah.
And also Alex and Harrington do after they got married. He keeps leaning on the buttons, dog. But yeah, I
Cut out that Big Time Rush thing. I don't want people to know I know boy bands.
gay.
Yeah.
I used to have a lot more vitriol for the intern Olympics, the way that I used to have more for Skanks in general, where I was like, why do grown adults willingly put themselves through challenges and torture because they love their idols so much
'Cause you
that
could
they
become
want to
a-
be in the same room as
You
them?
could be Paco one day if you're really talented.
Yeah, but they could like cut you out. They could cut you out early because your face is weird, which they kind of did. Like, they were.
No, dude. Joseph Sussman is going to be head of
Josh.
creative in 6 weeks.
Did you say his name wrong on purpose?
Yeah.
I'm retarded.
Bleep that out.
But now I'm like, if people have free will and want to sign up for this shit, they kind of know what they're getting into. It was like the how they were a while ago deciding what should be one of the contests for the to get a golden ticket, and they were talking about having a ugliest woman contest, where if you were the ugliest woman, you would win the golden tickets, and they decided not to because they didn't want women to like kill themselves. And I was like, I feel like if you listen to this show and you're a grown up, you gotta know. You must know that that's gonna happen. Like they will make you feel bad. I don't know. I bring up Tusk all the time. Have you ever seen Tusk? Tusk is about podcasters, and at the beginning of the movie, they bully a kid on the internet until he kills himself. It's the very, very like first 10 minutes of the movie.
Didn't like one of the guys kill themselves from like the SDR contest?
No, but that was
He died unrelated.
Yeah,
Okay.
he overdosed.
He overdosed.
Yeah, that was not an act like a.
Oh, right. That was just a random
A
accident.
relapse.
Yeah, I mean, there was not a direct relation to I suffered on this show, therefore I'm going to kill myself. You know.
Let's move on.
Yes, please. We've been here too long.
So, speaking of Legion of Skanks, this is also this is relevant to both TTI and Legion of Skanks and GaS Digital as a whole.
Okay.
So, on the Friday night hang of Legion of Skanks, Lewis has been talking about they were trying to find an opponent to fight at Skankfest.
For who?
Himself.
Oh, himself.
Oh, so he's gonna fight Mike Figs.
So, yeah.
Is he gonna fight Mike Fix?
So the idea here is that he doesn't know who he wants to fight, and Harrington doesn't know who he wants to fight.
Okay.
So what we've settled on, not we, but what they've settled on is Lewis is going to fight Figs and Harrington at the same time.
No.
In the ring.
No. The next fight is me and Becca fight you in the ring.
And this is we're gonna cut to the video of them discussing this in the studio, in front of Vinny Guadagnino of the Jersey Shore. Do you think you stand a chance?
We fight Lewis like that. I think as a team, as a duo. The Bash Brothers? Yeah. Let's go. You tag me in and then I jump in, or do we both fighting
both same time?
So it's 4 fists?
Yeah, 4 fists. It's the 4 fist way.
What if I hit him really hard? I can't. I don't know. I want to fight someone.
What if
match you guys would get?
I gotta fight left fur. I gotta fight someone that I don't like.
Well, you could create
I
one.
gotta fight somebody I want to kill. I can't.
You gotta fight his fridge, dude?
You could create one. You could create one Megazoid Lev Fur if you guys like combine together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's my anti-Fig. Is a Lev Fur, so I would want to fight Lev.
You and Lev.
I don't want to fight Lewis. I love Lewis. Lev, I would get angry if
132nd round.
Huh?
That's all you guys need. 132nd round.
We're both
That's all you
both
last
tapped out.
anyway.
Albuterol in both fucking side corners so we can hit asthma pump.
Nah, dude, you're cooked.
Fight someone? Guess so. I guess so. Vinny's what happens. You work GaS Digital. We're gonna fight somebody.
So wait, what was you were gonna ask Becca her opinion on what happened, what transpired in studio yesterday? Like, what's the story there?
Yeah, but that's for later.
Oh, it's a different time in studio.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you...
Stupid, bad, don't. What the fuck?
How do
Why
you-
is
how
he
do we
gonna
feel?
fight both Harrington and Figs? That's retarded.
You can't keep saying that word. Your brother's gonna hear that.
My brother doesn't listen. My brother doesn't know what's going on.
Offensive.
That's crazy. That's so dumb. That's so stupid. And this is Figs' ticket. This is Figs' ticket to be allowed to go to Skankfest since he wasn't on the lineup. He has to fight. He has to double team Lewis.
Yes.
Whack. Very dumb. No, Figs and Harrington should fight each other, obviously. That's a much better fight.
That would be like a super unfair fight.
For
Yeah.
Harrington would win because he fights.
I mean, Mike Figs doesn't look like he has any muscle on him. He looks like the only muscle he has on him is how much you need to keep up like a fat body for volume. That's
Just the stamina of existing, carrying himself around. I think that
He looks like the only
I think that
muscle
they're
about
certainly
him-
like. Sorry, you go first.
He looks like the only part. He looks like he would be called the muscle in a gang.
Yeah,
But
like
that's
he would just stand in front of doors like this and block
Hey, it's the
them.
muscle, and he's all pudgy.
I feel like they're the same weight, but yeah, Harrington fights. This is stupid. Why did they come up with? Whose idea was this?
I think it was kind of inspired by the 100 men versus 100
two fat
gorilla
guys versus one Lewis.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a good chance that Lewis beats both of them. There's not a
There's not a zero chance that Lewis
not
beats
even
both of them.
zero. I would say there's more than,
Half?
I would say 40%.
I think 40% is fair. Which is unlikely statistically speaking.
I would put money on Lewis.
I would
if
put money
if I
on the
wanted
other
to,
two.
but I'm saying So here's the caveat. I'm saying if I wanted to make money betting, which means that he would be the under. You know what I mean? Which means that favorably he has a good chance. I think he has a good chance of losing, but I want to put my money on it because I think it would make money because it's such unlikely. You know what I mean?
Yes, that makes sense. What do you think?
I think that there's a level of uncoordinated that you can be where like teaming up with somebody makes you more of a detriment.
Yeah. And that would be fixed.
They're just tripping over each other.
I wouldn't be shocked.
They're like Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
I'm not, to be clear, I'm not, I think Harrington is probably like coordinated and like a decent fighter, but like, I don't.
But I think Figs would be such a detriment that it would knock him over. Perhaps.
I'd have to see him in action, but.
I think I would have to see him in action too. How are we? Oh, because we moved to New Orleans, we're allowed to fight again.
Yes.
Got it.
And Lewis has already. This also spawned because Lewis is already pissed off at Harrington
For not showing up to the gym.
and for this video in particular.
Oh.
Cheese dripping down your lip right now. You're eating Taco Bell. Yeah, no problem. I thought you're supposed to be losing weight.
I am losing weight.
That's not gonna go make you lose weight.
Yeah.
You're fucking disgusting. You make me actually sick.
Was this staged?
No.
That really just happened?
Yes.
Unprompted?
Yeah, we were just eating. He is not happy with Harrington's diet, and as we discussed, one of the thing that happened last week was Harrington said that he was eating healthy because he had chicken over rice, which is just,
And it was orange chicken.
It was just General Tso's. It was, and Fega goes, "Yeah, you ate Chinese food."
He
Just
goes,
say
"You ate sugar." You ate sugar-coated.
And he was like, "No, but there was a little bit of broccoli."
I realized that I have never, I mean, I've certainly wanted to / attempted to lose weight, but I've never needed to lose a significant amount of weight where people would see a difference unless they were really scrutinizing me. That being said, Figs and Harrington both drive me crazy, the amount that they're like, I mean, Figs in particular, just because it's always on the show where he's like, no, for real, I got to lose weight if I want to have a child.
Well, he lost
And it's
5
been
pounds.
2 years. He lost 5 pounds a year and a half ago.
He lost 5 pounds 5 times.
He lost 5 pounds 5 times and gained 10 every time. Lev was the same way.
Yeah.
Lev was offered $7,500 to lose 60 pounds, and he did not do that, as far as I know. Can you imagine being offered almost $10,000 and still not doing it? The hubris.
Yes.
The arrogance. It's crazy. I mean, maybe he did, and then he gained it all back, and he just didn't post himself on social media.
If you were in Harrington and Fig's corner, what advice would you give them to be able to beat Lewis?
Are we talking about weight loss or just like fighting? Because
Both.
I want to know what your fighting advice is.
Yeah.
You say that as if you like really had something.
yeah,
I know Lewis is off switch.
It's right here.
Fighting advice: don't be clumsy. Don't get any to like pick a side.
Yeah.
And,
Have a game plan.
yeah.
Learn the tango.
Yeah. Clothesline him.
Yes.
Just hold hands and run across.
That's not a bad idea.
That's a good idea. They could get secret cues.
Yeah. I want them to wear piñata outfits again.
That was for the piñata fight, though.
Don't ruin my fun.
But yeah, the signals is good. What signals should they have?
I don't know. They could learn a few words of Hebrew.
There we go. Lewis isn't going to know that.
yeah.
Ooh.
Are we going to talk about how Lewis is writing a book, apparently? Did you know that?
Yeah. Knives and Spoons.
Oh, I know it's that now. He
On-
posted on social media.
He's
Did
been
we
talking
all-
about it on the regs for like 8 months.
You think I watched the regs?
Yes, you used to work for it. I would assume that you're checking in.
No, not really. Not thoroughly, anyway. I watched the last 2 episodes where Bobby left and then remained out until the last. I did watch that one, by the way, because I had to edit a piece of it into our episode last week, and pretty funny.
Yeah, Lewis is body, brain, coffee, and knives and
He's
spoons
really
now.
he's. I don't want to say spreading himself thin, but like he has many What's the word?
He always is.
Irons in the fire.
He irons in the fire. Thank you very much. He has
Spinning.
many irons in the fire.
Oh, that's a good thing that they could do. They could just stress him out like a lot before.
Yeah,
Oh my God,
there you
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Or maybe
Or
that'll just make him see red, and he'll be like extra intent
Okay.
on killing them.
So here's my idea. He's very ADHD, so put on a real big distraction.
Yeah,
You know,
that's true.
just put two girls in the corner, and he'll like try to run in one. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
What? Yeah, but like weight loss. I know you've talked about this before on Chris's podcast, but some.
I
weight
think
loss
that was
advice.
weight gain
Oh.
for you. But I don't know. Well, I don't think that Taco Bell is like inherently like fattening.
No, I don't either. It's just the quantity that he eats when he gets it.
That's fair.
Which I think is most of the issue with Taco Bell is like, I don't know, how many tacos do I need? 12? That's my problem.
Fair.
That's valid. I guess like the better thing to do would be to like recomp where you keep eating, like keep your eating steady to what it has been, but like keep strength training.
That's true.
Because if you just cut calories, I think like a lot of studies show that it actually just reduces the amount of calories you can metabolize, and then you end up like, you know,
Keeping more on you.
yeah, like
Really?
Yeah. Because your body goes into like a panic mode where it's like,
Oh.
I need to store this.
So then, how do you counterbalance that?
You need a plan.
You need a wiener.
Wean off is what I was gonna say.
you need to not eat wieners.
Yeah.
Less glizzy.
Yes.
So, have you ever needed weight loss?
No.
Becca's like, I
Have
take,
you have, but you didn't do it actively. You just hit puberty and lost weight.
I hit the treadmill a lot. And
Did
I
you?
just didn't eat.
So you made an active effort to lose weight.
Yes.
I
But it
just
was
always
all-
assumed you like hit puberty and then it kind of
It was column A, column B.
Yeah.
Because I was also
Mike was a
eating.
fat
I
kid.
also wanted to eat a lot because I was
Running a lot.
hitting puberty.
That too. Yeah, never mind. This is like a downer.
I'm curious what you were gonna say, but I respect.
I was just, and I can cut this if I want, but like I have had periods of time where I wanted to lose an amount, like I said, not a significant amount, but an amount of weight. And it was like worse for me to run more suddenly, because like now I've finally fallen back into a running routine where I do it every week consistently, which is good. And I've sort of evened out. But if I was like trying to lose weight, it was better for me to just like have a really light breakfast and, you know, plan my meals. But if I was running, I would get more hungry. So that like was counter to what I was trying to do, you know?
The biggest problem I see with Figs that I think Harrington does have, that Figs does not. I've never once seen Figs exercise discipline
Yeah.
in anything.
Yes.
Ever.
That's what I'm saying. It is so I mean, we say this ironically now that there are White Claws, but like you're someone who has stopped or greatly reduced your drinking in the past
Yeah.
year. It's like you were like, "Oh yeah, going out with my friends was the hard time." It's like there was never any like he comes in every week and goes, "I'm not going to drink on the show anymore." And Shannon's like, "Oh, have a White Claw with me." And he's like, "All right." I'm like, "Bruh, it's the easiest place to avoid it. You're talking, you're busy." Like I find it's easier to like it's one of the easiest places to cut it out.
Yeah, it's. I would say conquer figuring out how to bring discipline into your life before you even approach some
Yeah.
kind of routine.
Sure. You know what I think is actually good? Like this isn't like specifically weight loss advice, but I used to like be kind of like semi-addicted to sugar, and my friend kind of sat me down and was like, "This is like basically the new smoking." And I did like a 7 or 14 day sugar fast.
Yeah.
Where like I ate like nothing with any added sugar. So like I didn't even eat like, you know, Jiffy Lube peanut butter or like ketchup.
Yeah.
And it like resets your palate.
Jiffy Lube is like a car company. But
Oh wait,
Jiffy peanut butter.
I refuse to get my oil checked.
I'm so sorry. Continue what you were saying.
No, thank you for correcting.
My spark plugs were just going crazy.
I ate no motor oil. That was the hardest.
That was the hardest one.
But no, like I mean, it just like it makes it hard to drink like soda again after that.
That makes sense.
Soda's the kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, like liquid calories like alcohol and sugary drinks are like the easiest places to pack on pounds because almost anything else, it's gonna make you feel full.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other things that like are the worst for making you not feel full are like potato chips and like any kind of like processed junk food.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what I would say, Figs. Replace your vice. Figs started vaping, and then he stopped. I
So
say
just go
pick
back
up-
to vaping and
pick
stop
up the
eating.
vaping again. Yeah, maybe that's.
I
what you
mean,
need.
not that that's healthy or good advice for life, but that certainly is a way to lose weight.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Do Adderall and vape.
It's kind of the way that like people in AA are always like pounding cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
I would have suggested like eating carrots and celery.
Sure, you could do that too.
That's a
But that
good
always sounds like a good idea, but you never want to actually do that when you're trying to lose weight.
Well, if you, according to Harrington, if you have those with buffalo wings, it's healthy.
Yeah.
Carrots and celery.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Anyway,
Yeah, we should move
I
on.
wish them luck.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
wish
so-
them luck too. I hate that they're fighting Lewis as a tag team. That's nuts. That's stupid. But I'm excited to see it. I think that'll be funny.
If I was in Lewis's corner for this,
New question: how many blind mics versus one Lewis?
well, they said Alex's,
Oh, I saw that online.
and Lewis said 12 Alex's. You think he could defeat?
I think that's generous because I bet he thinks that he could do more.
Yeah,
I think that was complimentary to Alex. He probably thinks he could take on way more Alexes than that.
yeah. Well, Big J says like a couple of them are gonna be for fun. You're just trying to see like he's like I could with a light shove to the face I could get a couple down.
Yeah.
Um,
People always think that I'm stronger than I am.
how strong are you?
Not very. This
Wrestle-
happened
arm
in
wrestle.
Jamaica. We arm wrestled
Yeah.
a couple years ago. And I'm
Okay,
famously
well,
bad at
fine.
arm wrestling.
Then kiss if you already arm wrestled.
All right, Lewis, you're taking over his role here today. Should we move on?
Yeah, but I will say, in the same vein, maybe Lewis needs to use some kind of food distraction for them in the ring.
There you go. Like Hansel and Gretel. Just leave a
Yeah.
little trail of like Skittles around.
Or why doesn't he punch them both at the same time?
Whoa, that's great. Oh, you're so smart. That's crazy. He's got 2 arms, 2 guys. There we go. You got it, Mike.
What if?
Damn.
Okay, wait. What if it's like the same 3 people, but like you were both like you were controlling like Harrington and Figs, and you were controlling Lewis, like from
Who
a
would win?
computer.
From a video game?
Yeah. Who do
I-
you think?
I think that you're better at video games. I'm always key smashing. You're a big fan of like
No, no,
barcades and stuff.
I button mash on Smash. I'm awful at
So
Super
am I.
Smash
So
Bros.
am I. So I'm a button smasher. Smash.
All right,
Whatever.
so the same
I would
bodies.
Could be a coin flip. To answer your question, I think it would be a coin flip.
Well, okay, if I'm serious here, Lewis has the advantage in the tummy department. So if he goes for a gut shot,
It would
it's
knock one of them
going
over.
to wind them a lot more than it would wind him, who has some kind of ab definition. He doesn't
Sure.
necessarily have ab, but he has enough definition where
Yeah,
like,
it's solid there.
a gut shot is not going to affect him as much as it would probably.
He's like
put,
Houdini.
It would put Figs on at least one knee.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But if you take him by surprise, like, do you know the story of how Houdini died?
Someone punched him out of nowhere like he wasn't prepared.
Yeah.
But he used to say
Isn't that
he used to
isn't that
invite
Jewish propaganda.
He used to invite Is he Jewish?
I don't. I feel like there's some kind of Jewish propaganda involved in this.
I think Houdini is Jewish.
He would invite, as far as I know, correct me if I'm
Yeah.
wrong, he would invite fans to punch him in the stomach, for which he was prepared, and it would not hurt him because he was ready. And then a fan came up at a point where he was not prepared and punched him right in the stomach, went without letting him know first, and
Yeah.
he
It sounds
died.
like a
He
lie.
eventually died.
That sounds like a lie someone made up.
Obviously-
That killed him. Someone
obvi-
killed him and then lied and said, "Oh yeah, he did it."
Obviously, they didn't punch him and he died instantly. It like caused some sort of rupture inside that led to his death.
I also, if I murdered a man by punching him, I would also lie and say that.
Well, they didn't say that at the time. They said Houdini died from a punch. My eye was so strong that I killed Houdini with one single punch. It's probably
yeah.
what they did say at the time.
I would say that too.
Well, you're that guy, I guess.
That's why I don't think that's actually what happened. No one's hearing Houdini's side of the story on this.
He deaded. He's dead now. Believe it or not.
Am I right, Becca? Doesn't that sound like kind of like
Propaganda.
a brag? Doesn't that sound like a bold brag?
I don't know. I think it did actually happen. I mean, like, I think he punched him, like, really, really hard, and Houdini was also getting sickly at the time.
Oh, he was like older?
It
Or
was,
he'd
yeah,
just
he was.
been doing stunts for so long that it fucked up his body?
Maybe this is what happened to the Pope.
He got too old
Maybe
and sickly.
J.D. Vance punched him in the stomach.
I'm going to start pushing that propaganda. We have like 3 other shows we want
Yeah,
to
wait,
get to.
so what happened on Wednesday?
Yeah, what happened on Wednesday?
Oh boy. So
He's been leading to this all day and he refuses to get to it.
Starts off with Tuesday night, Zach Amico puts out a tweet. I'm so grateful. I'm actually looking
Looking forward to
I'm
working.
so excited to working. Like, I'm so looking forward to podcasting. Like, I'm so grateful to finally have my own show
Zach is dead now.
on the network.
Zach's not dead, as far as I know.
That is funny. That is like that is always a suspicious tweet. from Zach.
Like he killed himself?
That is a suspicious like post-mortem tweet.
I was
Right.
thinking more like dramatic irony.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it, but
Yeah.
he didn't make it. I was thinking like an I love you all. Neither of these things happened.
No.
I saw
All
Zach
in-
today. He was fine.
Oops, all incorrect.
Yeah.
We find out after he tweets that Tuesday night, morning comes, it's Brett Raybould and Akeem Woods, and Akeem is insufferable.
And I usually really like Akeem.
It was bad.
Yeah. So
It
what
was-
does he do?
So Zach loves to like reference movies and TV shows and actors, and they're like pulling regular podcasts, like just current events about actors in general.
Right.
And every time they would just talk about that or have a story about an actor, Akeem would be like, "Who is that? Oh, I haven't seen that. What is that about?" And they would like explain it and be like, "Oh, that's white people stuff. I don't know about that." And I'm like, Zach would be like, "You don't know Frasier?"
Yeah.
And he just kept doing like to the point where like even if you don't know who it is, you can have a conversation about something without. But he would just like
Shut it down.
not even trying to. He's just like too curious for his own good. Where it's like it's just annoying because they're trying to have a discussion about it and they can't because they're too busy having to explain every single pop culture reference from
Right.
the past 30 years.
He was like being an annoying woman.
Yes.
What? Who's that one? What's his name?
Why is he doing that? I don't know. It's not over yet. That's why we're watching this.
Yeah.
It's the movie. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. The truth is that's I'm that one and you're the one asking what is that?
Who is Edward Norton? Oh, so he can't see. So he can see the other guy, but no one else can see him.
Very good.
Here's a cookie.
It was like you watching my movie the other day. You're like, I'll be honest, I have no idea what happened.
It was a little.
It was dark and it was unfinished.
It was a little hard to follow just because of the audio, but
Yeah.
I did appreciate it. And
Thank you. That was a mean cut of me. I realized that it was like partly finished.
Oh.
Whatever.
Well,
Good. Akeem.
regardless.
Brett.
Like you made a movie?
Yeah. A long time ago. I filmed a movie during the right before the pandemic, like February 2020, and it's still not completed. Such is life.
You should finish that movie.
Thank you. I moved it to my actual active usable computer because it was on a computer I don't use anymore, which was part of why it sat in purgatory forever.
It also, granted, to her credit, it sat in purgatory because it's very difficult to transfer DaVinci Resolve stuff to Premiere, and now that she uses Premiere, it's hard to.
Thank you. We can move on from this.
So it escalates to the point where Akeem keeps asking about this one actor, and Zach screams, which I never
Zach
see
does
Zach
not
yell.
Zach
And he's like,
never yells.
the guy we're just fucking talking about. You're driving me crazy, man.
I know who Mike Myers is. I don't know his name. So if you put me a picture of
Yeah.
Kelsey Grammer, I might know who that is.
Beast from X-Men.
Now
What?
we're getting deep.
I know
No, it's
X-Men.
not. He's Frasier!
Oh.
That's what we've been fucking talking about the whole time!
So
Are you out of your fucking gourd?
So his sister...
You're driving me fucking nuts!
So his sister
Are
died?
you... Yes!
Oh, okay.
Holy shit, man!
Like he loses.
Yeah.
I've never seen Zach blow up, and he was like he definitely phoned it in for the rest of the episode.
Yeah. Akeem did or Zach did?
Zach did.
Interesting.
And then Akeem asked to go to the pee, and Jorge said to us in the studio later, he's like, I didn't think Akeem was gonna come
Coming back,
And
I
then
would
he
also think
comes
that.
back. But it's funny too because Godfrey is so much more patient with him, but he did the same thing on Godfrey, and we're gonna get into Godfrey in a second, something different. But on that episode, Godfrey was talking about grunge music, and Akeem goes, "Oh, what's that?"
Did Godfrey make fun of him?
Yeah, well, a little bit, but he was trying to explain to him. He's like, yeah, like Creed, and Akeem's like, who? And he's like, can you take me higher? And Akeem's like, oh, who's that? He's like, Creed, I just said that!
To be fair, if somebody says, what's grunge music, I wouldn't be like, oh, let me name a grunge band. I'd assume that you have been living under a rock.
He's never heard one single grunge song before. Yeah, I would try to. You're right. I would just describe it.
Yeah, it was brutal.
That's so crazy that he did it 2 different shows in the same 2 days. Godfrey was first.
Godfrey was last week.
Oh, right. But it is coming out this week.
It's already out.
Or it aired. Yeah.
But so then Zach tweets out later in the day. He's like, today. I know he quote tweeted the thing that he tweeted on Tuesday night, and he goes, "Well, it turns out I've been humbled."
That's so fucking funny.
Yeah, he was like, "It turns out I need to temper my expectations."
That's so funny. It's like Frank coming up to you and being like, "Why are you so happy at work?"
Yeah.
Frank said that to Mike last week.
He did.
He was like enjoying himself, and Frank was like, "Why are you being happy at work for?"
And I was also humbled this week for being happy at work.
Why? What happened?
So this same day, later in the day in the studio, we are in the midst, Rebecca, I don't know if you know. I think you do know, but we're planning out a pilot
that we can't really
that
go
we
into
can't
detail
reveal,
of.
But I think you're kind of in the works of it. Am I correct?
Hold on, let me see. I'll see if you were in the group chat.
Okay, I'm not in the group chat, but
yeah, it was a sudden.
But there's a secret podcast that's kind of being put together right now.
Who's in my mouth?
I
yes.
wish. Boy,
we were talking
do I
about
wish.
who's in my mouth before this. Why is it? Did I delete? Oh, here we go. Yeah, there we go.
It's too secret to remain on your phone.
Yeah, it's like you are not in this group chat, but you may know about it.
And it filmed yesterday for the first time, and one of the guests, who lives farther away than the punctual guest, was an hour and a half late.
Okay.
And then that guest's car, because the excuse they gave was that guest's car had broken down.
Okay.
And they had to get a jump to get it to New York City. And so they parked at NYU, and I still don't know why, but for whatever reason,
got towed?
I had to sit in their car.
Oh.
For the entirety of the podcast!
Why you?
Because no one else was there.
Oh.
So Lewis goes, you're not busy. Go and sit in his car. And I was like, what? I'm making a promo for KP Burke, but okay, I guess.
That's fucking stupid. There was absolutely no reason for you to have to sit in his car.
I don't know why, but I guess
move your car. NYU. That's so.
News car, mystery host.
Oh, I'm gonna censor that.
Okay.
I'm gonna bleep it.
I mean,
You said his
danced
name.
You danced around it pretty hard just to yell it at full volume.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I'm gonna put bars and tone over it.
Wait, Frank, do you know why I had to sit in his car? I never got an explanation for it. I was just told to.
Frank,
I
as
really
someone.
think it was because there was nobody else here.
No, but as someone who
I
drives into the city every day, why would he need? There are spots all over the place.
I was the first one to say, what if he has to move it?
Yeah, he can't drive.
I know.
Yeah, that's crazy. But also, there's no reason that in the village at 8 p.m. you should ever put your car in a spot that needs to be sat in. Like that's crazy. There's legal spots everywhere.
Yeah.
They just didn't want you in the room. It was like what they pulled on Lillian when the Secret Service was here. Like they just wanted you out of the room.
Okay, but I had actual productive things to do.
Yeah.
That doesn't make
I know
sense.
it's extra stupid. I'm saying it's insane that they did that.
Yeah, I was speaking of which, I was making a promo. American Loser, now every Thursday at 4 p.m. subscribe using code LOSER to see over 200 episodes of some of the most insane historical facts from American history you'll ever hear. Please.
That's a
give it
huge
watch.
backlog.
Yeah.
I might have to go watch them.
It's great.
They're audio only. But you can
I might have to
listen.
go listen to them.
And
I don't actually watch podcasts anyway. I just listen to them.
am I wrong? Cameos from KP's veteran dad.
Cool.
Not just cameos. I think he's like a co-host of some type.
which
Cool.
Is, I mean, yeah, you're gonna hear. It's really cool.
That's
stuff.
very neat. I like that a lot.
And you can see some elaborately edited clips that I've spent probably like 20 hours each. making.
Damn.
They're phenomenal.
Yeah, they're
Thank you.
extremely detailed.
Yeah, go watch them. I spent a lot of time on them.
Yeah.
Becca is a G.
KP single-handedly funding Becca and Mike. Not single-handedly, but like has money and puts money in both of your pockets.
Single-handedly because one of his got blown off by a
In Nam. Shit.
an
So wait.
IED in Fallujah.
So in studio, the in-studio drama was that you had to sit in someone's car and that Akeem was being annoying and that Zach said he got humbled.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but like, okay. So the other little piece of drama that I want your, so we got Taco Bell as you saw.
Oh,
And
I'm
'cause
jealous.
I was in the middle of making this promo because Jorge loves Taco Bell, and I don't understand why. As someone who's so picky
Mexican?
about Mexican food in every other capacity.
Yeah.
So he comes at me at like 2 p.m. and he's like, "We should get Taco Bell today," and I'm like, "Yeah, sure. I'm not hungry right now, but around 5 p.m. I'll bring it to you, since you're gonna be recording the show." And then at 5 p.m. I was still busy putting together the promo because it took a little bit more muscle than I realized. And then Harrington comes in. He's like, "Y'all are getting Taco Bell? I want in." And I
Very
was
Philly
like,
accent for Harrington.
was that Philly?
Do a Philly accent saying that again.
Do you want me to say it the way I said it, or
No, I want you to say it with a Philly accent.
y'all are eating Taco Bell?
Thank you.
I want in on that, John.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for indulging me.
I was like, "Hold on, give me a few minutes. I want to order it and then get the rewards points on my phone." And
Nat behavior.
and then they were like, "But we're hungry," and I was like, "All right, fine. I don't want to run and get it though, because I'm in the middle of working on this thing."
Yeah.
And so we ordered it to the studio, and so Jorge was mad at me for that.
For not getting your points?
For
holding
like,
you up.
being so wishy-washy and waiting forever to get it.
Oh, well, fuck him. Just kidding. I
Um,
love Jorge, but he drives me crazy a lot of the time.
This is so unimportant. But I will say the last drama that I had,
Okay,
not even drama, but just studio lore in general.
sure.
So Legion of Skanks came in to record for next week, because Big J's going to a Marilyn Manson concert.
And Dave's out of town.
Dave's going to do a big podcast, apparently.
Yep. Why are you giggling? I know that. I'm his producer.
That's hot.
It's that, yeah, he's going to be on That's Hot for sure. Big things coming. Continue.
And Mick Rochefort was on.
Okay.
I didn't know this. I learned this after the show. Karen Feehan was on too. Nick Rochefort, do you know who he is? The guy with do you know who Sam Hyde is?
Someone was explaining to me who Sam Hyde is, and I don't know who Nick Rochefort is.
They're like
Philly comedy legends.
Not even no, they're from Rhode Island. But
Okay.
just edgy
Eric Andre-esque?
Eric
question mark?
Andre Xbox Live humor type of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's very shock value humor, like in your face, OMG so random type.
Yeah, I was gonna
YouTuber
say
stuff.
it branches out of edgy and goes into like not so random. There was another word I had that was like
absurdist or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
absurdist.
Very absurd. Where it's like you can never tell if they love to fuck with people, and you can never tell if it's a bit or not.
Jorge
Sam
behavior.
Hyde is
Okay.
his most famous thing is he did a TED talk in Philly. That's probably where you got the Philly thing from. He did a fake. He did a TED talk in Philly, but it was fake. It was a fake motivational thing that went viral because it was bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Nick Rochefort is his podcast partner, and he came in. So imagine that, and now Nick Rochefort is having a conversation with Karen Feehan about why horoscopes are legit.
Okay, I love it.
They love I never would have thought Nick Rochefort loves astrology.
Maybe it's a bit.
No.
I was gonna say that too.
No, he was legitimate.
He was really into it.
Yeah.
That actually does make sense to me. If
Because
you're
he was saying, I can tell... This is why I know it's not a bit, because he says, I can tell by the way people's posture is what their sign is. And I'm like, huh?
That sounds more absurd
What
than
the
what you were saying.
fuck?
That sounds more like a bit. That sounds
No, I promise you he said it in complete authenticity.
Because that kind of sounds like a familiar clip that we were both in which we said that men should be expected to read women's minds. And a lot of people thought that was legit, and that was not.
This was not on the podcast. This was just in the studio.
Oh, that makes a difference.
But is he one of the people who the bit never is never off?
No.
That makes sense to me. That
Sam
if it's
Hyde, kind of, but Nick is pretty genuine. Nick helped Lewis find a car.
Right.
He and Lewis were having a conversation about houses after the show. So
Interesting. Okay, the fact that this was not a conversation on the podcast does change my mind.
Yeah, they were.
That's so. Honestly, it kind of makes sense to me. If you're weird and absurd and out there like that, I feel like you would be into astrology. All respect to people who are into astrology.
And so I did give him my spiel about it, which I've given on the show before, but I don't think you've heard it. Which is the only thing I will give to astrology is I think there is something to the fact that human beings back in the day, being born at a certain time of year. And how crops work and the seasons of when crops change and the agrarian societies we used to have. I feel like that still kind of holds true to this day, where being born at different times of the year could actually, just by the way you're raised and how people operate at different times, could have an effect.
Counterpoint: the astrological signs are the same in both the North and South Hemisphere, which are experiencing different seasons at the same time. Much to think about. That's kind of how I feel about manifesting, which is I don't believe that on a literal level, thinking about something enough will make it happen. But that being said, I think if you have a goal and you think about it a lot, you're more likely to get it done.
Yeah, I agree with that. You start narrowing in on ways to achieve the goal.
Yeah. How do you feel about astrology?
I mean, if people want to think about astrology, I feel like it's harmless. If people want to be a Christian, I don't really care.
I kind of feel the same way. Yeah.
But you put no merit to it or value in it.
I mean, I guess it's a harmless.
Yeah.
Nobody's
you
started
don't
a war.
believe it.
What?
You don't believe it.
I don't believe in it, but nobody's started a war over.
From what it sounds
Exactly.
like, you think it's the Fisher Price of beliefs.
No, it's equal. It sounds like you're saying it's equal to a belief of like a religion where it's like believing in stuff that I don't believe in isn't necessarily harmful.
I took it as you pussy. At least Christians have some
No,
kind
no,
of
no.
compass.
No, that's not how I took that at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like another kind of belief. Another thing to believe in.
Yeah, I believe in beliefs coexisting.
Yeah.
But you think that like all those like it's because that's where I pushed back on them. I was like, you got to admit, horoscopes are very vague.
I was I mentioned what's his name, David Sedaris earlier because I was talking about Masterclass and I was watching his Masterclass. He in one of his books was talking about how Amy Sedaris, his sister who's an actress, was is super into astrology like that. And he said that he'll just randomly call out, like if a fan is coming up to him to like sign his book, he'll just arbitrarily be like, he's like, not even, are you an Aries? He'll just be like, it's about fucking time a Pisces showed up. And he said, one in 50, it's true. And it really wins them, you know? And that's very funny to me.
Well, like you have a 1 in 12 chance of being right every time.
Right.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, Becca, you're very financially literate, I would put
Sure.
it. Do you? What?
Is that a Jew joke?
No,
Well, I've given him financial advice.
Oh,
before.
okay. Good. There's some actual concrete basis and not like, you seem like you would know about this stuff.
Do you think there's any correlation between astrology and finance?
No.
She just said she doesn't believe in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think that there is? That sounds like you wanted it in for you to talk about it.
No, I'm just curious.
Are you sure?
Then
Are there people that say that there is?
I don't know. Is there any money in it?
This is oh, that's different. Saying is there money in astrology? There's absolutely money in astrology.
Oh yeah.
Predatory, I would say, money.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Anywhere there's stupid people, there's a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
Exactly.
Where would you exploit if you wanted to make some real money off of stupid people? What would you exploit?
I mean, I don't want to, so I wouldn't. But
that being said,
comedy.
No, comedy is an awful way to make money.
True. True.
But I guess I would. I don't know, that scam where you like do stock picking seems pretty good.
Ooh.
I actually would go with astrology because I watch a lot of astrology, pick a card, tarot stuff online, but mostly to like fall asleep to because I have to like, we've been at it an hour and 20.
I'm going to kill myself.
Why, are you ready to leave?
It's so late.
Well, we'll do one more show and then we'll call it.
Okay.
I watch a lot of pick a card tarot readings, and and the reason I like falling asleep to them, which is the reason I think I could scam, they're just saying the same words over and over again.
Yeah.
And so that's why, because if I listen to a podcast, he falls asleep to podcasts all the time. I'm like, it's too interesting. I'm too focused on what it is. And it's easy to learn how to read tarot cards, even if it's not true.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Sorry, what's yours? And then we'll do our one more show.
No. What?
How you would make money off of stupid people.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Tarot card readings. Charge people for tarot card readings.
Do you think you'd be good at predicting their lives?
No.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good. I feel like that's a part of it. Isn't that an aspect of it where you have to be?
No,
like,
people
pretend
read
to.
into their shit.
Yeah.
People read into their shit. If I say there's about to be a bountiful something coming toward you that is benefiting your life, they could read into that whatever they want. Yeah, exactly.
The thing is that every tarot card is like really vague because there's a positive and also a negative way to read it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, like the art of tarot reading is just saying enough vague things in a convincing way.
So that someone's life fits into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. What would yours be?
buffets.
How is that a scam?
You're getting people fat and they're coming back.
I don't.
The more they eat, the more they come back.
I don't think that's true. I go to one buffet twice a year. That's the amount of
But
buffets
I'm
I
not
go
making
to.
money off it. I'm losing money on you. I'm making money off of the Harrington and the figs of the
No,
world.
I think it's the opposite. Like buffet, I think the light eaters balance out the heavy eaters.
That's
Yeah.
a good point.
Yeah. You would not be buffet. It would be a la carte would be the way to make more money.
Yeah.
No, but I'm making it like a religion out of eating.
Okay. Let's move on. It's late, as we all noted. What was your last one? Did you actually have anything to say about the Corey Holcomb Godfrey thing?
Oh yeah, so basically for Godfrey, so Corey Holcomb out of the blue last week just like called out Godfrey again.
Sorry.
And it triggered Akeem more than Godfrey.
Yeah, Godfrey loves that it puts money in his pocket. It puts viewers on his show.
So Godfrey had the brilliant idea of instead of watching the video to read out what Corey said on his show in like a script form in his voice as his impression, and it was incredible.
I like that.
You were never a headliner to a nigga. Never. You not that kind of nigga. So when you pass on information
This is really good.
from homosexual type and the little homosexual man that's by you, I declare that war, nigga.
Yeah.
It's just funny because that was a feud that was happening when I worked on the show, which was
I
a
know,
while ago.
and he reignited it, and now he's going like so Godfrey was going like, and you better tell everybody that Corey Holcomb is not a lick. You know,
That was very good. Dave said this to me recently, and I realized
it's hard
this
to do
is
Corey Holcomb without saying the N-word.
True. Dave made a video a few weeks ago replying to an article that Douglas Murray wrote about the debate that the two of them had. It was like 5 steps removed. He's like, well, I mean, as long as he keeps saying shit about me, I'm going to keep responding to it because it keeps getting me views. He's like,
Right.
my name is still in his mouth and people, it gets views to my site. And I go, and we love that about him. This is like right before we went live. I go, we love that about him. And Dave goes, unironically, yes, I do love that about him. He keeps making me money by talking about me. So Godfrey, I assume, is kind of like that, where he's like, I don't give a shit personally if Corey keeps mentioning me. It just improves my numbers every time we talk about him.
That was his attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very funny. It was like, I don't have to defend any of this.
Yeah.
I'm not gay.
Yeah.
Why are you obsessed with this?
Doth protest too much, methinks.
That's what Akeem said. He's like, why are you a 50-year-old obsessed with other sexuality?
Yeah, it's like if you're obsessed with someone else being gay, you're gay.
But on the other hand, you're talking about him now, so maybe he's trying to get the attention.
It is kind of rage baity, though.
Yeah.
I think he's good at rage bait.
Yeah.
What do you think? I know you're not too tapped into this, but
I have no idea who Corey Holcomb is.
he's a comic who was on a couple of things and then just kind of fizzled out. So now
I thought he was an actor.
So that too, but he's kind of now like the Black Red Bar.
Mm.
If
That's
that makes
interesting.
sense.
Yeah. What's Red Bar?
Or Kevin Brennan, like a drama channel.
Okay, I'm gonna stop before I keep asking. Like, who is that?
You
I
sound
don't want to
like
be
Akeem. Yeah.
Irrelevant people.
Yeah,
drama
honestly,
channels.
drama channels is
Keemstar for black people.
right. Keemstar for black people hits with me
We're
personally.
going right into
Oh, wait.
the news.
Is that
That hits with me personally.
Is that a good game, or is it just really annoying to like start with an obscure reference and then have people keep asking who is that, and you keep explaining it via
Until they get it.
Yeah.
Until explaining it in more obscure references.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Wikipedia game where you have to like start with you need to get to Germany, but you start at asparagus or whatever. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Big J would be great at that. He's the king of obscure TV references.
No, this
one
is a
knows.
good game, actually. I don't want to play it because we're almost out of time.
Next
but
time.
Yeah, that's very funny. Cool.
But yeah, I think the consensus here on this is that this is escalated and de-escalated.
Yes.
Very quickly. It's kind of
Stop.
It is stopped.
You were about to say something.
I know.
Should we wrap?
It's played out.
There we go. It's played out. Should we wrap? It's an hour and a half.
What were you gonna say about OTG?
On
I'm
the
sorry,
gate.
Do you have anywhere to be? Feel like
yes,
you have
but I can stay for 5 more minutes.
Okay, 5 more minutes is what it'll be. I just want to check the exact names of the guests really quick.
It
but
was
on the
Judson and Christo.
Yeah, on that's not true. On the Gate this week, they did a Cinco de Mayo episode with their 2 guests, and they were talking
Luis
about
Lopez and Alexis something.
Yes, I didn't remember Alexis's last name, but they were talking about working in kitchens, and they were saying that the Latinos in the kitchens are doing gay jokes with each other.
I never understood open kitchens because, like, I work in a Latino restaurant. If you look back there, Pedro's humping Jose. They're just, it's so funny, bro.
Oye, patron!
Yeah, it's all gay humor.
It's all gay, fucking grabbing each other's cocks.
Yeah, but
There was a baseball player, I saw a reel where he was saying that. He's like, yeah, the Dominican guys have to shower separately because they
The
be
white
always
guys can't
playing
take it.
gay shit.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
like,
that's funny.
And then,
Dude.
but then one guy comes out. He's just like, yeah, they're not going crazy. Like, they're not humping anybody.
But they're
So, like,
sexually free.
Yeah, like, they'll just walk around naked, and then sometimes they'll just come while you're washing your hair and start scrubbing your hair behind you.
And I feel like that's the kind of thing that Godfrey would be like, man, that's some white people shit, always like grabbing each other's nuts and shit.
Yeah.
But apparently it's also a Mexican Guatemalan thing to
We
do.
gotta understand, Latinos are a very sex-oriented, passionate culture.
Sure. But like to some, I mean, I assume that black people are also like that, and they're very anti-gay. How is that? You just said a racist joke first, and then I said a different race.
What the hell? Everyone but them.
Oh yeah, everyone but them. Yeah, for sure. And they're super into. They're not.
I didn't say. What?
I hate you so much. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Explains Jorge a little bit.
Oh, he's touchy-feely? Since when?
No, but he is. He makes lots of gay jokes at you.
That's true.
And you hate it.
I feel like
because you are fighting it internally.
I feel like Jewish people don't play about that gay shit. Is this true?
Whoa! That's what? You said that?
I know like 3 Jewish gay people.
I know plenty of Jewish gay people actually. Most artists, right, are gay Jewish people.
I think a lot of artists are gay or Jewish.
Yeah.
Like, the ones that are gay and Jewish are super talented.
Wait, that was something from a YouTuber I used to watch a really long time ago where she was talking about Milo Yiannopoulos as like a dig at him, like why he was annoying. And was describing him, and she was like, a gay Jew, you'd think he'd be guaranteed to be funny.
That's just Harrison Greenbaum.
Anyway, there was what's his name story about how his dad got deported and then showed back 2 weeks later was crazy to me.
Oh?
They were talking about how they're like anyone.
Explain it like I didn't watch it.
So why is that? So he said that his parents immigrated to the U.S. and then when the guest was the reason that I don't know which guest it was is because I was listening while I was driving in today, and he was like 10 years old. His dad picked him up from Little League and got pulled over for like running a red light or something, and then
I
got
think it was
deported.
Lewis because I remember him telling a story in stand-up.
That makes sense. So he said that his dad got deported, but he was like 10 years old, so he just didn't see his dad for 2 weeks. And then in the middle of the night, his dad showed up and was like, "I'm back," and he was like, "Cool."
Oh wow.
He was like, he didn't get as a 10-year-old, he didn't understand the urgency of the situation.
Right.
Wait, I'm thinking of a book I was listening to. Never mind. I have no idea.
Maybe there's a 50-50 chance that it was him.
This was a 1,000 Splendid Suns.
But what a funny book to reference. A very sad book. not a funny book at all, but it's a funny poll. And then Derek was saying that anyone like that should be granted immediate citizenship, and that the people who were born here who get too lax should have to test for their citizenship again. How do you feel about that?
That if they're too lax.
Like you should be like a driver's license. You should be tested about what you know to see if you can stay, even if you got like the way that a lot of people say that elderly people with licenses should be tested again on their driving to see if they're still allowed to drive.
Yeah.
That, but with citizenship. Whereas like people who moved here really dedicated should be granted citizenship for like the amount of effort they put into staying here.
All of this citizen stuff is just it's so Roman. Like, this is all shit that, like, the Romans used to, like, constantly argue over. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you've studied all the Roman history or not, but, like, the whole battle over the entire empire was, like, because they would conquer all these different, like, you know, they would conquer all these different provinces in different countries and stuff. And so then, like, you know, the different countries would, like, argue over, like, what a citizen actually was.
Right. That is the type of shit that they would
people
argue
closer to
about.
the capital were like, oh, you're not a citizen. We are. 'Cause it feels so Roman Empire. Like,
Right.
I don't care. We're all just, I don't know.
That's interesting. But I was just thinking about the fact that Becca said she only had 5 more minutes.
Yeah,
with us.
sorry, I'm gonna run out. But thank you guys so much for.
Yeah, do you want to plug anything?
I don't know. You can follow me everywhere at Rebecca T. Kaplan.
You should do that.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
Do you have a final message for all the Gas Digital subscribers out there?
I don't know. Watch that sketch Natalie referenced earlier.
Yeah, it's on both of our Instagrams.
Damn.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
Sorry
thank you
we
for-
kept you so late.
No, don't worry. I should have said.
I'm sorry.
No, don't worry.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I look forward to watching the final 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, get to your thing safe. We're gonna plug and then we're gonna be out of here, I think.
I think so.
Thank you guys for watching Gas Digital Now, the Gas Digital wrap-up show. My name's Natalie. You can follow me at Natalie DeChico Edits on Instagram, DECICCO_edits. Subscribe to Gas Digital Now on YouTube. That is the most important thing you can do.
Dude, I mean, where else are you going to find the 3 R's? We have the true core values.
We do.
That is, do you want to know what that is?
I do.
That is reacting,
reviewing,
and reflecting.
Very true. If you want
So
all
the
3 R's.
core values, the 3 R's of Gas Digital. You got to subscribe on YouTube.
Open another tab, go to Gas Digital Now on YouTube, and subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, and then we are going to do a revealing Q&A, a live Q&A at gasdigital.com.
We're going to show our whole ass.
Very revealing. What do you have to plug?
If you can't get enough of our content, you can find more of it and learn the entire history of not just this podcast, but Legion of Skanks and Real Ass Podcast and On the Gate. I watched an episode recently of On the Gate where I'm like, I can't...
Who are these people?
This person is now intimately involved in all of our lives, and they're just like giving their life story out on this old episode of On the Gate.
Yeah, big time. Joe Harari is one of the first guests. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Oh, I didn't actually listen to the episode, so I wouldn't know what he said.
That's what I was referencing. That's so funny.
Were you trying to not say that that was his name?
Yeah.
Why? They can read his name.
I guess.
I can cut that if you want. But like, it's public knowledge if they're subscribed to the website.
That's true.
So you're saying I should watch that episode?
Everyone should.
Oh.
It's a good episode.
Yeah.
Also, I run the social media for Gas Digital, so you can follow that at Gas Digital on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at Gas Digital Network on YouTube, and follow me at That Blind Mike, and send me reels.
Send you reels? Really? Why? Don't send me reels. There used to be a guy that sent me like 4 reels a day, and I never gave a response, and they stopped.
Oh.
Maybe they finally picked up on the fact that I didn't want that. Brandon, you want to plug anything? He says no. Let's get out of here. It's late.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Oh, also, all the people who are watching on YouTube, I want you to leave, like, a comment about, I think it would be funny if, like, they've commented something about Becca's appearance on the show that, like, has no relevance to.
Be like, man, I can't believe she did that to that guy.
Yeah.
I can't believe Becca did that. And say something like vague like that, as if you know,
yeah,
something
give
happened.
like a vague like
clickbait
innuendo.
Yeah.
Give like an innuendo that makes no sense in reference to the episode.
Yeah.
Like she has a tattoo.
That's not an innuendo.
You're an innuendo, because you're in. You are end the O.